Pak Tool Reloading of 8x57 JR. William Hovey Smith, 2024.
So we have powder, bullets, and cases. Brand new, unprimed brass. So we got the whole package. All we needed now was a tool to load it with. One thing that interested me about the drilling is, as an itinerant geologist, I could expect to go from job to job in different parts of the country and different parts of the world. And I really did. And I needed to have a way to reload these very rare and scarce cartridges. So what we have here is a W.H. English Pak tool and components for the 8x57 JR. The rifle barrel, though, 8x57 rimmed. All right. It's the 8mm service cartridge from the German Army that was adopted 20 years before the 30-06 was adopted by the U.S. And by that time, I had bought this book, Cartridges of the World. So, we could look it up and see what it said about it. And it has 8x57 JRS. And here's what it says. This is a rimmed version of the 8x57 German military round for use in single shot and combination guns. Introduced in 1888 with the .318 bullet, it was adapted in 1905 to the larger S-type or .323 diameter bullet, corresponding to a similar change in the military round. It is popular in Europe and listed in the latest DWM, RWS, and Norma catalogs. It is little used in the U.S. except in a few imported combination guns. The 8x57 JRS gives the same performance as the 8mm Mauser, famous for most American shooters. It is about the same class as the 30-06 and so on. Now, a caution here. Be sure you use the proper bullet diameter for your particular gun. RWS cartridges for the .323 or S caliber have a blackened primer and a chandlered bullet. All brands are clearly marked on the box if you will take the trouble to read the label. The S caliber is available in heavier loadings and higher velocities than the .318 caliber. So, wow. Two different bullets are loaded in very similar cartridge cases. So, what I have here is the 8mm JR. And the 8mm JR uses a .318 diameter bullet. Now this tool is actually very similar to one designed by Newton, right here. Although the particularities of some of the components might be different, the number and style are very similar. I haven't looked at this for, like I say, 50 years, so this is going to be some trials, but obvious steps have to be taken. Our first task is to remove the spent primer. So we have the case here, and it's retained by the base there, and there is a hole for the spent primer to fall through, and an operating rod to attach through that pin, and the depriming arm coming down here, which is removable. Now that we have our tools figured out, we can extract these much better. So, case goes in. Find the primer pocket. There we go. And woof. And we have one extracted primer. We found out something else about the gun and the ammunition. Apparently, a half-century ago, or so, I bought 2 lots of this ammunition. One is boxer primed, and I may reload with American primers, and the other is Berdan primed, which I may not. And these are Berdan primed, and these are boxer primed. So, our little loading tool, flump, 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 worked very well to extract the boxer primers, but of course would not move the Berdan primers, because in the interior of the case there's actually brass over the top of the primer, and you have to extract the primer with a little hooked tube, boom, like this, which I don't happen to have. So, we have original ammunition, more than I thought, and some cases here that are Berdan primed. And if anybody needs them, let me know. Once you have your pin indexed, this is how easy the primer, and roll your case out. So just go ahead and push the primer out and dump it before you load the next case. If you apply a lot of pressure, either you're off on the web side and you can bend your punch there, or you're dealing with the wrong style of primer, as I found I was. Since this is new brass, deburring and lubrication is the next step. And for this there is a deburring tool. This is an RCBS, but other companies sell them too. And there's hardened steel. You don't have to really put a lot of pressure on it. All you want to do is to make it a little easier for the bullets to seat. And in the life of your brass, this is something that we typically do only once, unless you have to trim your brass, and then you would do this again. Our next step has been to lube the brass, and I use a case lube here, and just put it on a rag and wipe the entire cartridge with it. Now the die set came with an 8x57 JR die, and also an expander for this as well. And after lubricating the cases, they're put inside the rim catcher here, of course, and you push down firmly, You heard a little clunk there, and then separate. Okay, that was obviously too much. So, not that much force. So this case is ruined. All right, so we don't go that deep. Make an adjustment. Okay, that's much better. That is much better. Yeah. Now that gives you what the case should look like. There's no deformation here, but you have resized the neck. Okay. And the bullet, yes, fits inside the chandler, which is good. But one we haven't worked, it just slides in and out loosely, which is undesirable, of course. So yeah, that's properly adjusted now.
Support this channel by buying my outdoor books, business books, and novels, and recommending them to your local libraries. Among my outdoor books are Backyard Deer Hunting, Converting Deer to Dunner for Pennies per Pound. I also have Crossbow Hunting, and for those interested in getting in muzzleloading, Muzzleloaders for Hunters. My novels include Until Death Do You Part, An American Family Meets Their Sicilian Cousins, as well as The Goldfarb Chronicles, which won the prestigious Hemingway Award this year at an LA Live Film Festival, as well as many other honors.
I did manage to get the CCI large rifle primers to seat in 3 cases and tested them in the gun, and they actually fit well, but it's requiring unusual pressure with this tool to actually seat them. I went and got a new case and tried that one too, and had the same result. So what I'm going to do is get a primer pocket reamer tool so I can slightly enlarge the primer pockets on these cases so they'll be easier to reload. We are now ready to start loading some sample cases, and we have done one thing which you have not seen. We have used this expander die here to slightly expand the neck of the case, right there, not all the way down, but so that the base of the bullet will seat smoothly, and you can load it in the crimping die. But right now we need to get some powder in the cases. We have our Norma 203 smokeless powder. We have our loading manual right before me here, and it says it takes 44.8 grains. Well, we're going to load it to 44 even. Right, so that's 44 grains. .44 exactly on the nose. Double check. Yep. Now there is a cute little funnel that you use for putting this powder in the neck case, but I don't happen to be able to locate mine just at the second. So we're going to try to slowly ease it in there. Now fill the case with our 44 grains of powder. We're going to take our bullet and seat it in the neck like that. And we take our tool, seat the base of the cartridge in the tool itself. And we've already adjusted the tool by the use of this lock nut, and we used a loaded cartridge to judge the length. And so now we press down, and that pushes the bullet into the cartridge case. And it also incidentally sort of resizes the top of the cartridge case as well. So now we have a reloaded round. I'm going to try to give you a little closer view of the particulars here. Okay. All right. All right, yes. A very few more grains indeed. Quit oscillating here. That's it. Again, a funnel makes this much easier. But you can make do with what you got. Okay, and it gets the last few, and extract us a bullet. There we go. And seat it, minus dog hair. Seat it here. Okay. Put it in the die. There. Nope. Over the top of the chandler, not in it. There you go. And that's it. And this is all the way down, so that's exactly right. And then the case just rolls out as a finished case. When I get the primer pocket reamer, I will go ahead and load up the rest of these. Well, this is in effect a new cartridge to me and a new reloading tool, so let's see how we did. That's good. What have we learned with this exercise with the drilling? Well, a couple of things. Shoot your guns more than half a century apart? Well, yeah. We learned that the insert barrel was actually chambered for the .22 Magnum rimfire, which we now have in-house. We also did our first reloading with this W.H. English Pak tool here. I had bought it, but apparently I had never used it because it had never been adjusted. Well, we now have used it and learned about it and learned that you go through the usual steps of reloading. That is, you deprime, then you constrict the case, then you use an expander button to expand it a little bit, and this only neck sizes, by the way. You put the powder and primers in it and on it, and you put a bullet in it and clunk. Ultimately, you have a reloaded cartridge. Now, this Norma brass has tight primer pockets. I've not experienced anything that was this tight to seat in all my years of reloading. So we're going to get a primer reamer and remount the rest of this brass before we continue loading. In the meantime, we have 3 trial rounds to shoot, and we also have our .22 Win mags to shoot, which we will do in a subsequent episode. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe, goodbye, God bless, and see you next time.